Greetings and good day, everybody, no matter where you are and what part of the world you are in. I hope that you are having a good day. So, I do still have my pin curls in case you were wondering. When I get ready to go somewhere, I will take the pins out, and then when I come back in the house, I will put the pins back in. Maybe I'll take it down. Um, but I don't necessarily get dressed to do videos, so it's fine for me. Doesn't bother me. So, just wanted to get that out the way. Just real quick, I'm gonna keep this video as short as possible. But I wanted to want to talk about what's the difference between a narcissist and a sociopath. Now, I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I'm just pointing out some of the differences. And this comes from verywellmind.com. And it says sociopaths are more calculating and have no regard for the welfare or pain of others. They are most likely to derive pleasure from their acts. Narcissists differ because their actions are usually targeted towards self-inflation, and any harm done to others is usually as a result of them pursuing some kind of goal. I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to point out that well, with a narcissist, a lot of them feel a sense of entitlement. And so if the narcissism is directed toward you and you don't do what they want the way that they want when they want, they will oftentimes get upset with you. They may tell you that they're upset with you by yelling at you or cussing you out, or they may do something vengeful or spiteful or say something sarcastic. It's those things that make you go, You may not understand exactly what's going on, but it just kind of makes you pay attention, or you feel some kind of way, right? And what sometimes will happen is a lot of times some of these narcissists will start to do, now everybody calls it something different, but they do spell work, voodoo, black magic, whatever you want to call it. They'll either do it themselves based on something somebody told them, or they read off the internet, or maybe they read it in a book. Or maybe they went to someone who is some type of reader or shaman or priestess, voodoo priestess, and they'll try to recreate or copy something that they've seen or heard them do during one of their visits, or they will pay one of those types of people to do something for them. This could be in the form of dolls. This could be in the form of things that they say and or do. It could be candle. It could be anything. It really could be anything. A lot of times they have no idea what they're doing. And sometimes, it's not funny, but sometimes the practitioners that they're going to can see the truth in a situation, but because this person keeps coming to them, especially those people who do it obsessively, it's like they don't stop. Especially certain personality types, if they have set their mind that they want to get revenge on somebody, it's like they won't stop until they feel like they've gotten this person to a certain place, which never happens. And some of them don't stop until they die. Literally, like, not even exaggerating. Like, they hide what they're doing if they're able to. Sometimes they'll get caught, and of course they'll lie their way out of it or justify it somehow. and make it seem like it's okay. Um, they'll even stalk the person. In the world of social media, they create fake accounts. They could be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. They may or may not strike up a conversation with this person. They may or may not comment on the post. They'll try to push the person's buttons by saying something sarcastic, hoping that it makes the person get upset, or they'll just say something to strike up a conversation, as if they're just some random person who doesn't know this this social media, you know, this person at all on their social media page. Again, whatever platform they may be on, TikTok, what is Snapchat, whatever. They'll pretend as if they're just some random person that just so happened to find this person's social media account. You can usually tell it's usually a fairly new account, unless this is something that they've been plotting and scheming for a while. Then it may be slightly older, and they may have some random nonsensical posts, no pictures, or some picture that you could tell was screenshot or copied or something along those lines. Like, you can tell that this is not this really person. Like, it's, you can tell a catfish account um, when you see one. You can tell a catfish account. Like, it's really obvious if you have any type of knowledge about catfishing at all whatsoever. You know that this is a catfish account. And it's sometimes they create multiple catfish accounts. It may be even a different gender. And it's some crazy name sometimes. You could tell, you know, it was something made up. Um, and they're really trying to either, again, just anything to get any type of attention out of this person or a rise out of this person. Um, it's just so silly. Um, but again, the sociopath is just a little different. Um, let's see. Although not necessarily different in a good way, but it is what it is. It's all personality disorders. And again, the narcissists, they will feel entitled as if you owe them something. You don't owe anybody anything. Whether it be a relative, someone that you were in a relationship with, an old friend, associate, co-worker, acquaintance, whatever this person, whoever this person was in your life, even someone that you maybe had a child with, right? You don't owe anybody anything, but they've made it up in their mind with their ego and their sense of entitlement that you owe them something, and they're going to get that something one way or another. It's so ridiculous. It's so silly. It's so simple. And that's the sociopath too. Like, some of these personality disorder traits can overlap. And sometimes a sociopath can be a narcissist, and a narcissist can be a sociopath. Um, but they can be very self-centered. So it's all about them and what they want. And that's probably how it's always been. Like I said, um, for some people, when they don't get what they want the way that they want when they want it, they basically have an adult temper tantrum. That's what I call them, adult temper tantrum. And those temper tantrums, if they don't move on with their life, their whole entire life, it consumes them. And this is all that they can focus on. They could be married. They could, have a great life where maybe they're traveling. But as soon as they get a minute or as soon as they're away from their spouse, they're focused back on their target. It's a little sick, actually. And people need to heal. And then, too, I don't know if I posted this on social media or if I said this in a video. And I forgot what I was getting ready to say. But they'll basically focus on their target as if they have no life. And this target, again, this could be a relative. This could be a mother. This could be a father who doesn't want to see their child or their offspring be more successful. This could be an old romantic partner who feels like, well, if I can't have you, then I don't want anybody else to have you. And they could just try to send things your way to try to stop and block you from having certain things. And again, they could be in a whole relationship with somebody else. And really, they may or may not love that other person, but obviously it can't be but so serious because they're still focused on you. So this is what I was going to say. Keep in mind that some of these people are karmics, right? They're karmics. Again, this could look like your mother, this father, doesn't matter, right? And they're karmics. And so we all sign a soul contract, covenant, whatever you want to call it, before we come back into this realm of existence, right? And so when they signed their soul contract, they came here for the sole purpose to try to stop and block you. And so they're fulfilling their purpose. Are you fulfilling yours? Do you remember who you are? Do you know your purpose and what you came here for? Do you remember what you signed up for when you signed up for this contract? So if you're an empath, or someone who is divinely destined to do certain things for humanity or for your relatives, whatever that looks like, again, their sole purpose and mission is to try to stop and block you and keep you from accomplishing those goals. So this is why a lot of obstacles come up, a lot of blockages, fear, self-doubt, feelings of lack, not trusting in your self-worth, not trusting your instinct the first time, not having confidence to step out and do what you need to do to remove yourself from some of these people. Because a lot of times, in order to move forward, you can't look back. You have to let these people go. And I'm not suggesting anybody leave anybody. This is not what I'm saying. But it kind of is, in my Dane Calloway voice. But if someone is not supportive and encouraging, it doesn't matter who it is. A lot of times you're holding on to, you might have 5 or 6 coins with this person, right? Or when you're around this person. But as soon as you get away from that person, you'll have 10. But you still feel like you need to hold on because you're going to miss out on something. It's like a kid. Remember, I don't know if you were this kind of kid, but I was kind of, to a certain extent. I didn't want to go to sleep because I felt like I was going to miss out on something. So you feel like if you make that change, so change is good a lot of times. We've been trained to think of change as a bad thing. But change is inevitable, actually, and so is death, right? And a lot of times when we make the changes that we need to make, our life improves. And so we're holding on and being in a stuck place, and we need to get out of that stuck place so we can thrive. A lot of people are just surviving. A lot of people have convinced themselves, oh, I'm supposed to be in a miserable relationship. I don't deserve better. I don't deserve more. I don't deserve a better person. But really, if you move forward and surround yourself by better people who are not in this sociopathic, narcissistic energy, and they're actually elevating themselves, and they have ambition and they have drive and they want to do better, they want to be better people, they want to have better things. And this is not about materialistic stuff, y'all. It's not about material things, although once you grow, the material things do come. It's just a natural progression. So when you remove yourself from certain energies, honey, baby, when you do your affirmations, when you meditate, when you focus on what you need to do, when you stop talking about people, are you listening? Hello? Can you hear me? When you focus on you and stop focusing on other people and stop talking about people, stop trying to be revengeful towards other people, stop being spiteful, when you actually want to be helpful and generous and kind. Kindness is not a weakness. If you feel like somebody's trying to play you out, set a boundary. If they cross that boundary, distance yourself from them. It's really simple. You don't have to match their tone or temperament. You don't have to get an attitude. You don't have to care about what they say. If they call you a punk, a pushover, what else? Whatever, who cares? Does that pay your bills? Does that put food on the table, clothes on your back? Does it give you good loving, honey? Does it do any of those things for you? Then why do you care what they say? And if this if this is somebody who provides all of those things for you, then maybe you're dealing with someone that you need to distance yourself from. Maybe you need to elevate yourself higher spiritually so that you can be in a better place, so that you can thrive without that person. Maybe you shouldn't depend on that person so much. Are you codependent? Do you have a trauma bond? Hello? Are you listening? Are you sitting there on the screen because you're triggered and telling me, I don't know what I'm talking about, and thinking of something that you could type to try to get under my skin? And guess what I'm going to do? Oh, okay. Whatever you say. Well, I might use it as an opportunity to educate. I might share some article or link with you, or somebody's name that you can research. And I'll tell you, if you would like to know more information, feel free to research these things, or feel free to do that on your own. I may or may not do that, depends on what mood I'm in. I may especially do that when I know that this is a catfish and somebody that I know on the other side of the screen who's been watching me and following me and wanting to see what I'm doing and what I'm up to. I may do that. Maybe, maybe not. Depends. But yeah, witchcraft, voodoo, people are sending stuff your way. And some of you don't know it. And you're wondering why you've been stuck in a certain place for maybe some years or some months or whatever that looks like. You wonder why certain situations are not working out for you. It's because you need to protect yourself from these people, because they're doing evil things. They may not be evil people, but we'll just say that they're doing evil things. Now, depending on you, you may be highly protected. And although they've been attempting certain things and wondering why they're not working, and still attempting those things and still wondering why they're not working, and maybe at one point they did work. But we've transitioned from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. A lot of truth is coming out, so they're not able to throw rocks and hide their hand anymore. The truth is coming out and it's being revealed. And so what was once in the dark is now coming out into the light. And this could have happened yesterday, a couple hours ago, days ago, weeks ago, months ago, years ago, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. Doesn't matter how long ago it happened. And some of the things that happen, if you find out about them, they may hurt your feelings. I'm by no means saying that these things are easy to deal with. But you can deal with them if something shows up in your life, we're not given any more than we can handle. So if it shows up in your life, that means you can handle it. Again, it may hurt your feelings. It may make you mad. And it's okay if you express that. Whatever emotion you're feeling in that moment, you should express it in that moment, but you should not hold on to it. You should not hold a grudge. You should not seek revenge, because karma will come back around. That's the whole thing. It's not about what somebody does to you. It's about how you respond. So yeah, you might need to have your vent session. You may need to cry. You may need to kick something, throw something, go for a walk out in nature. Whatever you need to do to relieve that stress, you can do that. But once you're done relieving that stress, you need to let it go and move on and focus on something that you need to do for self-development, self-care, and self-love. Because remember that forgiveness is for you and not the other person. Because when you hold on to unforgiveness, it's hurting you. It's in your body. I remember one time I was watching Oprah, and she said that there was this woman she had a grudge against for years and years and years. And she was on Rodeo Drive or somewhere shopping, Beverly Hills, whatever it was. And she's about to walk into a store and she sees this woman across the street. And she immediately got mad, right? I'm not saying these are her exact words, but this is how I recall the story, right? And she's looking across the street at this woman, and this woman is just living her life and not paying attention to the fact that she's mad. And so she realized it makes no sense. The person that this this animosity is being directed towards probably has no idea. And not only that, they probably, even if they do have a clue, they don't care. They're moving on with their life. They've been saying, honey, I wish that person all the best. That is unfortunate that they're still holding on to that. Especially if it's been years. When are you gonna let it go? When are you gonna move on with your whole entire life? Oh, but I know. Again, these are karmics, most of them. So they're probably with someone who they're not even happy with, who they don't even want to be with. And they're probably wishing that they were you, they were in your shoes, or that they were with you. It's usually one of those three things. And because they're not, then they become jealous and they become envious and they, become spiteful or vengeful and vindictive. And any chance that they feel like they get, they sit around and think of stuff. Any chance they get, they try to say something spiteful or sarcastic or vindictive, again, to get under your skin. And then when it doesn't work, then they get mad all over again. It's the silliest thing. Oh, and then you have the copycats. They can't really do anything until you do it first, because they don't have a creative idea in their mind, because they're too busy focused on you and what you're doing. They have their own gifts. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take that away from them. But they're not focused on them because they're focused on someone else, instead of focusing on themselves and what their natural gifts, talents, and abilities are. They've convinced themselves they don't have any. I've said this in several videos. If you are a great cook, cooking is an essential part of life. I love to cook. I love to cook for people. Maybe a little egotistical, but I love for somebody to tell me, ooh, that was good. I love it. I love for somebody to tell me that my food was good, especially my man, especially my kid. But it could be anybody. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It makes me feel more like a woman. I love it. So if you make the best butter biscuits, damn it, make those motherfucking biscuits. Shit. Somebody is gonna love you for those biscuits. And I do cuss sometimes, so I apologize if this offends anybody. My older, ladies or gentlemen, my, people who don't use profanity or people who are religious. If that offended you, I apologize. Because that was not my intention. But I'm going to be myself. I am going to be myself. And sometimes I curse. Yes, I do. Because it just doesn't really make sense to me. Stop having self-doubt. Say your affirmations. Be encouraged. If you don't have anyone outside of yourself supporting and encouraging you, support yourself. Ouch, that hurt. Okay, I'm getting excited. And when I get excited, my pain level intensifies. So I'm doing my best to stay calm here. Affirm yourself. When you start loving on yourself and caring for yourself, and I mean, it could be something as simple as if you're normally ashy, put some lotion on. If you normally walk around with your hair all over the place, do your hair. If you look unkempt and you haven't had a haircut in months, go get a haircut. Or at least comb and brush it. I sell beard oil. I sell hair oil. It'll soften it up for you. You could get that comb through it much more easily. You might have to finger detangle a little bit, but it'll help you out a lot. www.circa2009.com. That's www.circa2009.com. And I will even look up the exact definition because I always say that it means since or around the time of. So if you would like to know what circa means, which you've probably seen it before, on the side of a building, CA period, which is the abbreviation for circa. Okay. And you just didn't pay it any attention. You may have seen it somewhere before. At some point in your life. A lot of buildings have that on the side. That means that's when the date that's when that building was erected. It means approximately, around, roundabout, in the region of, roughly. There or abouts, more or less, nearly, close to, approaching, or so, of the order of. Precisely, exactly, those are opposites. So if it's not an exact date or a precise date, that means it's something close to it. That's it. And since I don't know exactly what month, I started making products, or I don't even know if it was 2009, because I want to say it may have been 2008 when I started making products for myself. And I was on the phone with an old coworker, and I was like, okay, I have this new business because I decided to actually get a tax ID and create a business name in 2014, right? And then I think my website came in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Or my Etsy page, I should say. But I just started out, I bought a really big thing of shea butter. And I was putting them, I ordered some plastic containers, or I got them from Walmart. Those little food storage containers. If you go to Walmart and you go to the hot bar and get like some fried okra or something like that, and those little containers, those little flimsy plastic containers that they use, I bought, it was like a case of 100 or so. And I bought those, and I bought shea butter. And I was just scooping it out and putting it in those really cheap containers and selling it for $5. Very casual, not, I wouldn't say that I wasn't taking it seriously, but I wasn't really advertising. It was just like, selling it to family and friends, maybe somebody I went to school with. Oh yeah, I sell shea butter for $5. And at the beauty supply store at that time, it was $5.99. So I was selling mine for even $5. Oh yeah, just give me $5. But again, I was mainly selling it to people that I knew. And then I started making products with it because at that time, there weren't as many natural hair companies. And I went natural in 2009. Okay. But I was making skincare products before that. So, like, even I think it was something as simple as mixing shea butter and coconut oil. It was just that simple. And then I started doing more research, reading more books, finding out about different essential oils. So I came up with another formula. And this particular formula, I was like, oh, wow. My relatives and I have most of us have really dry, scaly skin. And when I saw what it did for my skin, and then my grandmother used it too, like it makes our skin look like normal skin. I guess it balances out the pH. I don't know, the combination of butters and oils just helps the skin. It's like it like heals that scaly, flaky, dry skin. Now you have to do it every day. And even I noticed putting it on my hands, and I would wash my hands a couple times. Like even just raw shea butter, just plain shea butter without adding anything to it. You put the shea butter on your hands and go wash your hands a few times. I wouldn't get as dry and ashy. Whereas lotion, I'm dry within 5 minutes. I mean, I put lotion on and I'm still ashy or dry. So the formula that I came up with, I was like, oh my goodness, this will help so many people. And I was excited about it. But when people see you doing stuff, especially narcissists and sociopaths, right? People who feel like, oh, I don't want you to do better than me. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a family business. Let's do this together. And they was like, I don't know what you talking about. Like on some street, you know, you know, I got this or you got that, so I'm going to just go over here and do this. And it's like, why would you not want to work together? Do you not realize, like, why are we being separated and divided? Do you realize that if we do it together, we can grow it faster and have more sooner? So I have to build it by myself, and then once I build it, then you're going to come asking me, hmm, oh, I see. Hmm. I remember somebody, one of my relatives, I will never, ever, never, ever, ever forget this. I'm not going to hold on to, maybe I will forget it one day because it's just an experience. But it was an experience that taught me a lesson, a very valuable lesson, right? I asked one of my relatives who at the time, and maybe still, I don't know, was receiving hundreds of dollars in food stamps, right? And we lived a distance from each other, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour, right? And I'm learning to be more vulnerable, but at this particular time, I was still a little prideful, right? So it's not easy for me to ask people for anything. Number one, I kind of grew up spoiled, and when you spoil your child, it really gives them a false sense of reality, right? So I was a little spoiled, a little bit, right? So, and I, this is how spoiled I was. I was like 4, and my great grandmother at that time, she used to babysit me. Her and my great grandfather. Well, he wasn't the babysitter, but you know he would be there. She would babysit me, and she kept a bottle and a pacifier hidden in a drawer for me. And my mother didn't know about it at first, but I don't remember if I asked for something to eat or if I asked for that bottle and that pacifier. But whatever it was that I asked for, she told me no. So I pushed her and she fell down. And my mother came to the house to pick me up, and I got in trouble. I did get a spanking, right? And I should have, because I had no business pushing her down. I didn't know she was going to fall down, but I didn't realize my own strength, and I didn't realize how weak she was. And, you know, I felt bad afterwards. I think I apologized, but I don't quite remember all the details. But anyway, I know after that, my mother got rid of that bottle and that pacifier. But that's how spoiled I was. Um, so I didn't like being told no. I don't like being told. Like I said, I'm becoming more vulnerable and more open to it. But I didn't like. I don't like. If I ask somebody something and they tell me no, it hurts my feelings. And of course, I'm not gonna say you just hurt my feelings. I'm just gonna say, oh, okay, whatever, that's fine. Thank you anyway. So, um, it takes a lot for me to ask someone for something. There have been plenty of times where I've been at home and I didn't have any food. Um, I may have had a hand, no, I'm not even going to say a handful. I may have had one or two people I would call and ask that I didn't feel bad about asking. And I would ask them if I could borrow. And if they didn't have it, um, I would just do without. Sometimes I wouldn't even ask. I would just do without. I would just use that as an opportunity for me to fast. Um, or, to fast, to meditate, and to just work on myself. And I wouldn't make a big deal about it, and I would just wait until I was able to get it on my own. And that would just be that. And, I wouldn't worry about it. So this particular time, I called one of my relatives and I said, hey, do you think you could give me $30 or $40 worth of food stamps? Now, I do know that some people, if they don't have something, instead of them saying they don't have it, they will try to change it around. That's the narcissistic stuff. They'll try to either make you feel bad for asking, or somehow flip it around or change the subject, or whatever little tactics that they do, right? So I do know that people do that. And I don't know if that was a situation at that time, but again, this person did get a lot of food stamps. And I was like, just $30 or $40. And this person said to me, well, what's going on with you? You never tell anybody anything. Um, so we don't ever know what's going on with you. And I sat there and opened up to this person and poured my heart out to this person and told them everything that was going on with me for damn near an hour. And that person never helped me. Like, what do you need? Like, what you need? Like, why you need help? And I had I'm not even going to speak on it. But for me to call this person, like, this was not one of those one or two people that I would call if I needed something. So this was very, very humbling for me to pick up that phone and call this person and ask this person for $30 or $40 worth of food stamps. For them to fucking humiliate me. And I'm not even mad. But at that point in time, this is how I felt about it. So that's why I'm saying it the way that I'm saying. Now, it is what it is. But this person basically humiliated, because all this person wanted to do was gossip about me. To go back and tell the other relatives, oh yeah, this is what she going through, this is what she got going on. But then at the same time, see, because I grew up kind of spoiled, that wasn't my fault. But see, then I realized that, all of that was a facade. You have these family members thinking that this family member got more than they actually have because this person may be a little bit more bougie. When the reality is that family member right there who makes less money and who is not flashy and bougie actually has more money in the bank. This relative over here that's stunting and fronting don't even have what they appear to have. But because they stunt in front, they got the family thinking that it's more than what it really is. In the meantime, I know what it is, and I'm admiring this one who stay home most of the time. Again, make less money, but got more money in the bank. And if you went to that person and said, oh, let me borrow a G, they could peel it off. They could go under the mattress and get it. But this other one that's stunting and fronting, they ain't got it like that. They robbing Peter to pay Paul. But you sitting up there looking because they got on some name brand foolishness that they probably bought and paid for off the clearance rack. But you don't know that. Because again, you just see the stunting and the fronting. So because of all the stunting and the fronting that went on around me, you looking at me like I got all of this when that is not even the reality of the situation. Then you got the other one leaving me home by myself. So there's no love. There's no real so we lived in a house. So what? You know how many times the lights got cut off or the water? Because of the stunting and the fronting? Then this person said, oh, well, you don't know what I've been through. This might have been another conversation. You don't know what I've been through. My mother was on drugs and she was out in the street. Guess what? My mother was hanging out with your mother, boo. What are you talking about? What privilege? I didn't experience that. I don't know what you think that I experienced, but I wish you would take that out of your head because I did not experience what you think I experienced. I experienced some stunting and fronting, treating me like a little baby doll. Oh yeah, so what? She went to cosmetology school and so she made my hair look cute and got money from the grandmother, the stunt in front, to buy little outfits, to dress me up like a doll, and to leave me in the house by myself at night so she could run the street. That's the real of what was going on. But, we live and we learn, we grow and we heal, and we move on, and we realize once we grow that it was just an experience. And you don't have to deal with certain experiences. Like I said earlier, you can set boundaries or you can distance yourself from these people. And if you distance yourself from these people, they may send things your way to try to stop, block, and bind you. But as long as you focus on yourself and what you're supposed to do and your purpose, because we all have a purpose. We all came here for a reason. And it's not to imitate somebody else and what they're doing. It's to satisfy our own calling so that the Most High can recognize us. And as long as you're not doing that, you're not going to get the things that you want. As long as you're focused on somebody else or hating on somebody else and trying to stop and block somebody else, you're stopping and blocking yourself as well. But I'm getting ready to get off here because this phone is about to die. I love y'all. I really didn't plan on staying on here for 49 minutes, but it is what it is. I guess I needed to get that message out. All right, y'all. Later. Love y'all.